Hi all, a long time no see. I'm sorry I've been back home and working and doing not so film worthy stuff. But I've been thinking I should still post content on this channel even though I'm not traveling. And I've been thinking, what can I share that's going to be useful to you? I've shared my travel stories. It's always fun to share those kind of things. But also realized I've traveled a lot in my life. And I might have some little tips and tricks that I use that might help you out if you want to go traveling too. The one thing that my friends are always surprised when I go traveling is how cheap I get my flight tickets. And I try to explain it as many people as I can, but I decided it could be a good topic for a video. I live in Montreal, so my tips are more applicable to North America and where I'm at. The situation is a little bit different if you're leaving from Europe or from Asia, because then you have the low-cost flights that we don't really have in North America, and the situation is a bit different. First and foremost, the most important thing, you have to be flexible. You have to be flexible of when you go and of where you go. That's the most important thing. If you know that you have 1 week vacation and you want to go to Paris and it's only in October, there's really not much you can do to lower the price of your ticket. But if, like me, like we did a couple months back, that we wanted to go to Southeast Asia, and that, let's say, I want to go somewhere around February, then it's a lot easier to find a cheaper deal. When we were looking, we looked at flights to Bangkok, we looked at flights to Singapore, we looked at flights to Hanoi, and then we chose what was cheaper, where the best deal was. So, be flexible. Number one thing that you can do to pay less for a flight. So if you want to find a good flight for yourself, there's a lot of websites, like Skyscanner, Hipmunk, and all that. And they're all good. But my favorite one is simply Google Flights. It's really easy to use, and I never knew about it because it's not really advertised. And how I find my flights is a lot of trial and error. I simply input the airport I'm flying out from. And when you do that, with a certain date, you can actually just look at all the destinations in the world and just look at where in the world is cheap to go. That's great, but if you want to be more specific, if you want to go, let's say, to Asia or to Europe, what I do is I just start typing in cities, typing in airports, and there's this option to click show surrounding airports. And then just poking around, trying different places, trying slightly different dates, and eventually you're really going to find something cheaper. You can also decide to track a certain flight and receive email notifications if the price goes up or down, which is also very useful if you're not certain 100% about going and you're considering maybe 3 destinations, and maybe you tell yourself, you know what, I'm going to go only if the flight goes below a certain threshold. So yeah, Google Flights, great site, just poke around. I found that the best times to go, the cheapest prices, are always midweek. Weekend flights, for some reasons, are always more expensive. And it's really funny, but so many times I flew on the 13th. I'm born the 13th of July, so for me it's a lucky number. But I guess it's funny to see how people are still so superstitious that flight prices are actually a couple dollars cheaper on that date every month. The best time to look is about a month in advance, or even more in advance, because after that it's more of a last minute flight and prices increases quite fast. So between 3 and 1 month in advance is always a good time. But if you don't have time to look at those websites and you don't really care where you go, you just want to find the crazy best deals, there's other things you can do. Because what happens is that sometimes there are pricing errors and mistakes in the fares, which create really amazing, awesome, cheap deals to certain destinations from certain airports. The thing is, you have to find those deals manually. Like I said, poking around the Google Flights and things like that. And it's quite rare to just find them like this. But there are people on the internet that do this for a living. They make a little commission from you buying their flight, and they literally spend all their day looking for those deals. So let's say for North America, one of my favorite websites is secretflying.com. I just check it once in a while. I'm subscribed for the email list for my part of the world, and seriously, amazing deals. If you don't care where you go, you can stumble upon it and see like, oh, a $300 flight to Costa Rica. Why not? It's amazing. There's also this website that's I don't use, but my friends in America use. It's called Scott's Cheap Flights. He sends his deals through email, and there's like a paid list, but you can also get the free list where you get less deals, but you still get some of the deals, so still get a lot of value for free. And look around the internet. There might be a specific site for your airport in your hometown. Because I know I go really often on this website called YUL Deals, which is flights out of Montreal. But if you live in a big city with a big airport, there's probably a site there that caters specifically to you. And it's nice. You can just follow these sites, and if you have a destination in mind that you want to go to and you're flexible about when you go, as soon as that deal shows up, you just buy the ticket and you go super cheap. There's just one thing to look out for, is the hidden fees when you find a really unbelievably cheap flight. Because this one time I found this flight to Europe for $500, and I was thinking, that's a pretty good deal. I could afford to go like this. But when I started looking into it, I realized it was a $90 charge one way for my bags, which added another almost $200 to my flight, which made it a not so great deal in the end. It was just like an okay price. So be careful and look at everything that's included in your flight. But I think there are many ways to get cheap deals if you're open-minded about it. These were my little tricks, my few couple sites that I go to. Let me know if you have other tricks to get the cheapest deals. I don't know if I should do more of these tips videos, but let me know how you like that.